How you doing, guys? Welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 4th of June, 2022. So get ready for it, guys. The cryptocurrency market is about to crash. The stock market is about to crash. We are going through a massive depression. God help us all. This is the one. There's absolutely nothing we can do about this. This is probably going to be the last video that I make before I go into a cave in the mountains to hide away from all of this negativity and all of this impending doom that I simply cannot get away from. Now, obviously, that's a bit of an odd way to start the video, and this is definitely not going to be my last video. But the one thing that I really want to emphasize here is I've spent the last 10 minutes reading some articles and going through some headlines, and it's all doom, gloom. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. If we take a step back for a second, every situation, right, regardless of whatever that situation is in terms of downturns in markets, housing bubbles, popping, and inflation concerns, and all of this stuff that seems to be happening around us, yeah. The one thing that we absolutely can all agree on, and is verifiable, is that there are people with lots of money that make even more money. Okay, we know the markets are manipulated, we know the news is manipulated, and we know a lot of this stuff, right, is constantly being regurgitated to scare people out of positions they're already in and to stop people from engaging in markets when the opportunity presents itself, especially during downturns in markets. Okay, they don't want you engaging in the markets when it makes sense. They want you buying at the top when it's about to collapse. They want you selling at the bottom when it's about to turn. Now, I'm absolutely not giving financial advice at all. But what I'm saying is take a step back and start to plan for this coming opportunity, because it is going to be a huge one and probably the last one that we're ever going to see in our lifetime. So let me go over to some news articles and give you an idea of what I'm talking about, right? Again, spent the last 10-15 minutes just going through a bunch of articles and let's get a feel for what we're seeing, right? We'll get to this article in a moment because this article is absolutely insane, right? But we'll start here. Hacker used social media data leak to steal $660,000 in crypto from 90 victims. Okay, police. So not just any police, the entire world's police obviously wrote this headline. And I know it's obviously, I've got to go down into the article to see which police it is. I already have. It's down here. Look, police in Seoul, South Korea, and so on. But ultimately, the same narrative is constantly being thrown into the cryptocurrency news, and we're seeing hacker, we're seeing social media now being, paired with hacker. We're seeing people stealing money from cryptocurrency and so on. There's never a mention, of these huge institutions that are continually manipulating markets and stealing money from everybody around them. Don't worry about them. It's all crypto, right? Crypto seems to be the problem now. All of this traditional financial problem previously has ceased to be an issue. And it never was anyway, because ultimately these big institutions do what they want, then they get bailed out. We suffer, we pay the taxes for it, and then everybody just continues like nothing's happened, right? But now all of a sudden it's cryptocurrency. This is the big problem. We need to get rid of cryptocurrency. All right. So let's go over to CoinDesk and we see, are exchange layoffs the first sign of crypto winter, or is it already over? We're seeing this continually. Crypto winter, crypto winter, crypto winter. This is something that is being pushed and pushed and pushed like it's going to be the end of the world, and we're going to go through this insane winter that there is no way of getting out of. Yeah, there is no sunshine that's going to melt this ice. God help us all, right? Let's go over to crypto or CNBC in this case. Crypto firms say thousands of digital currencies will collapse. Compare market to early .com days. Again, something that we're seeing pushed into the narrative quite frequently now. Over the last 2 to 3 weeks, I've seen the comparison made between cryptocurrency right now and the .com bubble. And they're making a lot of parallels and saying it's very similar. This is what we can expect, so on and so forth. And again, it's all with that kind of sense of we're about ready to collapse. We're about ready to explode to the downside. We're about ready for that huge transfer of wealth that is about to happen from the poor to these very wealthy institutions that are continually doing this over and over and over again throughout history. You can see that I'm being a little bit sarcastic in this video, and there's a reason for it. If we go over to Cointelegraph, New York AG warns against crypto investments amid state push to ban mining. How many times have we heard this banning of mining? Not 3 to 4 weeks ago, we were hearing about Bitcoin being welcomed, and being pushed in different states. okay, to be used as currency, to be promoted from the mining aspect of things. There is a huge push to bring, a sustainable way of mining Bitcoin so it's not taking up as much energy and so on. But now all of a sudden, everything that we're talking about is irrelevant. And now we have to focus on the mining again, the banning of mining. How many times have we seen this happen? This is continual. Now there's going to be a bit more of a push when it comes to actually banning mining. There will be certain states that will, start to go through this narrative. And then we go over to Yahoo Finance. Tech and crypto firms experience massive layoffs in May. Here's how bad it really is. All just headlines. When we read these headlines, it's very easy to be drawn into this negative, pessimistic view, of what's going to happen to crypto going forward. And all the while, do you really think that these huge institutions that are spouting this nonsense are going to just let cryptocurrency collapse and disappear? Or are they going to be buying these huge discounted cryptocurrencies when they get to that stage, and making an absolute fortune on the way back up, and just, again, massive transfer of wealth? Now, I want to really emphasize before we get to the next article that it is not my intention at all, under any circumstances, to be focused or pushed in the sense of financial advice. That's not what I'm doing here. But what I'm really trying to emphasize and get, the point across is, if we plan for this impending doom, and you put yourself in a position, right, where you're ready, you understand what's going on in the markets, you study, you learn, you read, you look behind what you're reading and actually break everything down, you start to realize that there is a massive opportunity there, both in traditional finance and in cryptocurrencies, because this isn't just about cryptocurrency. This is about everything. This is about the traditional financial system. Cryptocurrency as a new player in this, entire narrative, and so on. And there will be huge opportunities. So if we go over to this backlash article from the Washington Post, the crypto skeptics' voices are getting louder. Okay, this was an article that I read yesterday, and I actually posted a tweet about this, and which has just disappeared. It's obviously been deleted or banned or whatever, right? But what we see in this article, and I suggest everybody actually go and read this article. If you just do a search for something like this, you'll find the article. Okay, and right here, a growing number of tech and financial experts, not random people, not normal people, experts, financial experts, right, are issuing warnings about cryptocurrency investments. What will their cries mean? And what's happened is, you have a lot of these people, okay, about 26 of them that have got together and started sending a letter. They're effectively got together. Okay, and it says here, for a long time, it felt like just a few of us shouting from the rooftops, said Nicholas Weaver, a computer security expert from the University of California at Berkeley, who has long mouthed both a financial and ethical case against crypto investment. But I think there are more of us now, and hopefully that will help us be heard. So you can see that they're starting to try to push. And you can see on Wednesday, Weaver was one of 26 influential technology personalities to direct those cries to Congress. So they're trying to push this now to Congress. And in a letter addressed to the Senate Majority Leader Charles E. Schumer, the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and other congressional leaders, the group outlined what it described as potentially grave dangers of cryptocurrencies. Again, a narrative that we've heard over and over and over and over again. It's becoming absolutely nauseating and exhausting to listen to this narrative about how terrible cryptocurrency is, and yet it is being used in traditional finance already. Okay. So ultimately, we read things like the catastrophe and externalities related to blockchain technologies and crypto asset investments are neither isolated nor are they growing pains of a nascent technology. They are the inevitable outcomes of a technology that is not built for purpose, and will remain forever unsuitable as a foundation for large-scale economic activity. And yet, we have the UK, who is outlining legislation and regulation for stablecoins to be used here as currency. Okay, this is the point. We see all of this narrative being spouted about cryptocurrency being, unsustainable, not worth looking into, a danger, and so on. And yet this technology is being used and promoted both in banks and with governments, and they're going to be using this technology to introduce their own central bank digital currencies. So we see a lot of... Anyway, let's get back to the article. So This letter was obviously sent, and it's carrying on and carrying on. But here's an interesting part, and something that really irritated me, to be honest. And this is why I actually posted the tweet, which again, like I said, has been has been removed. And let me see if I can find it. It's here somewhere. Just bear with me 1 second, guys. I will find it. I will find it. The biggest fear is if it does get into mainstream economy. Listen to this. The biggest fear is if it does get into mainstream economy via retirement funds, it could start bringing other things in the system down with it. Like with Fidelity, said Gerard, this is David Gerard, noting that companies plan likely to go into effect later this year that will allow participants to allocate as much as 20% of their 401k to crypto. That's why we have to stop it now. Yeah. The point being, okay, and not to keep going on and on and on about this kind of negative, pessimistic, it's actually making me feel a little bit sick, to be honest, like being this negative. But the point I'm trying to make is it's very easy to read these articles and understand from these articles that everything's negative, that the cryptocurrency market's going to crash, that it has absolutely no value. Traditional markets are going to crash as well. This is another narrative that's getting spun. But in the end, we know that cryptocurrency being in this space has absolutely immense value. We know it's already being used in real world applications already. We know that this technology is going to be used for central bank digital currencies, that it's going to be used for stable coins that are going to be used in a lot of different countries and so on. And yet we are being told that cryptocurrency has no value, that it needs to disappear, that it needs to be eradicated, and that we absolutely should not be engaging with cryptocurrency. I think there's some wires crossed somewhere, and we need to make sure that we're taking advantage of the upcoming opportunity. So when all of this does kind of spiral supposedly out of control, that huge transfer of wealth, which we know is going to happen and we know is coming, is not just from the poor to the rich, but ultimately us as retail traders, us as retail investors, and us as the ones who engage with cryptocurrency the most and want to see it flourish and do well. So with all of that said, guys, I hope everyone's having an absolutely fantastic day or evening wherever you're in the world. I hope you enjoyed this slightly different video from me. I just wanted to kind of vent and just throw it all out there. And I look forward to speaking to you in an upcoming video. All the best. Take care. Ciao for now.